Hello, good morning, and welcome. A very exciting match. We're in round 2 of the 2025 main A Link to the Past randomizer tournament. And this is the first game of this series between Zenitschwert and ph112358. Will be hereafter referred to as PH. And both are veterans of the community, and PH has a very fast any percent NMG time, a 125 last I checked, which is very quick, so got some experienced runners, and this should be a very exciting matchup. I'm JD Silvergun, and I will be doing the commentary as best I can, and we are joined by Pete Sith on tracking. So the book is the first item, very exciting, I'm sure. And so for anyone that doesn't know, the casual boots format, they start out with a sword and boots, even though you can't see it until the uncle. We get 20 rupees on the uncle, and 300 in the secret passage chest. So I'm not going to be hurting for money on this seed. And being that this is a standard format, we get our very lovely escape sequence, which is more similar to the vanilla game. I don't see this in most modes, I think. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay, so this is the second game. I read the bracket before the match started, so it's just a little bit behind. But thank you for the information. So Zenit is up 1 game. So PH, well, he has a chance to, make it up. Maybe we'll get a game 3 between these two. A bow in the boomerang chest. That might lead our runners towards Eastern sooner rather than later. Very nice ball and chain guard fight for PH. And Zenit has a nice fight as well. I have to confess, I don't know what a good time for escape is for casual boots. I don't remember. But for PH, a couple rooms advantage already. It's showing his, extensive practice in NMG with boots movement. But Zenit not too far behind. Sub 5 minutes is a good time, thank you. Why when I said I'm going to do the best I can with this, because I have not actually played a non-glitched mode other than cross keys in a long time, so feel free to call me out or put information in the chat, and I appreciate that. A piece of heart in Dark Cross as we head to the back here. ph getting a key rat on the bottom side. Not too bad. But Zenit having to chase him down a little bit. We got a second sword in the back of the escape. That's very friendly. It shouldn't be too difficult of a seed, but you never know. But that's a very promising start, I would say. Already having a Master Sword. And ph does get out with that sub 5 escape minute time that we were looking for, so very nice. Just 10 arrows in the Sanctuary chest. And it looks like we are heading to... Oh, that's right, of course, so we would check Bonk Rocks. But I assume we're heading towards town. Just 5 rupees in the Bonk Rocks chest. But we have a lot more available to us. See where the seed is pointing us. Looks like ph wants to check the Lumberjack and a tree pole. Single rupees, not sure if that was tier 2 or tier 3. Bombs on the bush crab is friendly. So Zenit gets 20 rupee, or the 80 rupee tree pole, so maybe Zenit got tier 2 and ph got a tier 3. So just 10 arrows behind the Lumberjack today. More arrows in the mushroom location. Ph skipping over those. I think tier 1 is hearts then. And is Zenit showing us an early pedestal check, which with the early book, I can understand that, wanting to know. So just rupees on the pedestal, and he decides to save and quit. Meanwhile, ph into Blind's hut. Alright, so Zenit not even bothering with town. We're going straight to Eastern, or Sahasrara, at least to start with. This is a very aggressive play, and it's interesting. Glove, lamp, and 50 rupees in Sahasrara's house today. And ph not finding anything in town yet, but there's no way Zenit's going to get away with not doing this, I would imagine, at some point, so... Like, this progress difference will even out at some point. And we see Eastern is a crystal, by the way. I'm not sure if we knew that. I don't think there was a map check. Alright, so ph already with the tempered. So, like I was kind of guessing, this is going to be a very comfy seed. At least combat-wise. So far it's looking that way. And we see a fourth sword on the race game, and PH decides to save and quit. It takes a pass on that one, and frankly, I don't blame him. I believe that was a pendant Hera we saw on PH's map check just now. And I think it was Crystal Desert. And just in case anyone's not aware, the Tempered Sword is almost as good as the Gold Sword. The difference between the Master Sword and the Tempered Sword is very large, so there aren't that many situations where the Gold Sword has a big advantage, especially for someone of PH's skill level. So, definitely amusing though to see the fourth sword. Okay, so Zenit approaching the boss in Eastern and PH approaching the front door. So we have a red crystal at Desert. Thank you to the chat for informing us of that. Alright, so just 20 rupees on the boss, and no progression items in the dungeon, but a crystal is required. So, bit of an early lead, at least for crystals for Zenit, but I'd have to imagine that Zenit is about to do all the stuff PH did in town. But maybe not. Might be getting a South Shore play here. And he's doing just that. So, avoiding town. Maybe hoping to find something to make the town trip better, like a bottle for Sick Kid, maybe? And that is true. Flute would be very nice to have to save a trip if you find that. But just a piece of heart as the sunken treasure, and Zenit is going towards Desert. Decides to stop and get some bombs from the rock crab. And this makes sense, because we have the book and the lamp. This is a clearable crystal dungeon. You have to wonder what's in Mini Moldorm Cave, though. I've seen the route before where people go over to do that first and then work their way to the left, but that is not what we're seeing today. Maybe wants to combo it with Ice Rod Cave and Zora stuff later on. Alright, we see our second glove already in Desert. Key on the torch. Sends us to the right side for the big key. So we have a green pendant here, and we have logical mountain access. So that could be interesting. Although we can't get to Hera yet in these rules set, so... we could rescue the old man, and sorry, I apologize, I'm not used to commentating for a regular mode, but I'm gonna do my best here. And PH gets his first crystal. A map in the big chest of desert. So I believe that will make our item on the boss. Otherwise, I'd imagine he wouldn't have checked that if we had both items. Alright, ph going to South Shore now. We'll see if he decides to go to desert as well, or go the other way. As a ph also heading towards desert, being that it is a clearable crystal, that's definitely understandable. Alright, so this fight for Zenit is kind of gross. So gonna be much easier for ph with the Tempered Sword. So ph picking up his mitts in the first check of desert, and Zenit defeats Alanmo. And we get our silver arrows off of the boss. So this is a very comfy seed for combat. With the early artillery. So 4 swords and both bows available in the light world. Just getting the unfortunate bush bonk. It's always annoying when that happens. Alright, just bombs in Agina's cave, and Zenit takes a save and quit. And Link's house start tells me South Shore again, only this time we're going to the right. So definitely avoiding town for as long as possible on his side. Alright, mini Boldarm Cave on Zenit's side. A bottle with a green potion, blue mail, shovel, moon pearl, and 50 rupees. So that's a lot of stuff. It makes me wonder about the sick kid check, because ph will probably not go there for a while, unless he's forced to. And so with our lamp and all of our swords and the moon pearl, that should be Dark World logic through Aga. If we, or no, we have the mitts. I'm sorry. Never mind, we're not doing Aga today. I apologize for that. So I'm curious when they decide to go to the Dark World, though, given that. Zenit going to Zora with the Water Walk at ph. Having some fun with the Lamolas. Alright, second crystal for ph, and the second bottle for Zenit in the waterfall. This time loaded with a blue potion. Alright, so Zenit going back in the whirlpool. and heading towards the man under the bridge. Cape from the man under the bridge. Oh, this is a very, very friendly seed for, staying alive and killing enemies. Okay, Zenit, shovel in hand, heads towards the Grove area. ph heading back to South Shore. Just bombs on the dig spot, but good to get it out of the way. So ph getting his goodies from Mini Moldarm. Moon Pearl, Bottle, Shovel, Mail. And Zenit, is it doing the race game? Going to end up with a gold sword by the time that he's done with town. Alright, ph back at Sanctuary. Heading to King's Tomb. ph passing on Ice Rod Cave and the Zora area entirely, and Zenit just passing on Zora and the Ledge. So this is some interesting corners that we're cutting to save time here. It could be, I don't know if this is like meta or not, but it is interesting. Alright, here's that sick kid check that we've not seen before, but just 20 rupees. Alright, ph first into the Dark World. We see we have a pendant mire. Okay, so ph going into Thieves Town. Hammer in the first chest. That's some good peace of mind, knowing that you're not leaving anything behind when you clear this place. Like, for sure not leaving anything behind anyway. I mean, it frequently, ends up the map or compass or the small key itself could be in the big chest, but we didn't know that beforehand, so definitely feels good finding that there. Okay, so Heart Container and Ice Rod are the two items in the front, apart from the big key, of course. So we're looking for one item in the back. Was Zenit also into the Dark World? And our other pendant that I missed before was Pod, so let me see here. So we need Fire Rod and Flute and a Medallion. Flippers, Hookshot. Okay, so it's too early to think about Go Mode, but oh yeah, we need Mirror too, also. Okay, so we need a lot of things still, but it's good to just think about it. Alright, so Zenit also heading into Thieves Town. As PH approaches the basement, getting there anyway. A vanilla small key in the maiden cell, and the big chest we have a map, so item on the boss it is. Okay, Zenit heading to the back and PH approaching the boss fight. As, you know, they always say, blind is a scripted fight. Everything that damages blind does the same amount of damage. 9 hits, 3 phases. PH has done this a bajillion times. Piece of Heart is our last item. And a third crystal for PH. Taking a bit of a lead for now. Zenit bombing the attic. Not too far behind. Okay, just a piece of heart in the brewery. And PH going to check the hammer pegs. PH heading north out of town towards Skullwoods. And this makes a lot of sense given the fire rod and hammer pegs. Just a heart container on the bumper ledge today. Alright, Zenit doing his blind fight. A small key and map in the first 2 chests of Skullwoods. Still digging. A piece of heart is our first item that is not a dungeon item, so there are only 2 in Skullwoods. Non-dungeon items, that is. PH gets a small key in the pinball room and takes the Wallmaster to exit. Zenit checking the brewery. And heading south. Zenit is literally going to be digging. Page is just, you know, metaphorically digging in the dungeon. Mirror in the dig game, and not many digs for it. Flute in the vanilla big key chest of Skullwoods on PH's side. Those are both items that are required. Or actually, pardon me, the flute is not actually required unless we need to go to Meyer. But it is an interesting item, though. Definitely makes getting up the mountain faster to rescue the old man. And just general travel, Overworld. So PH not having done the Ice Rod Cave area, if he decides to do that later, will be a bit faster. And so Zenit getting his Fire Rod out of Hammer Pegs with Smith in tow. Immediately putting the mirror to work. Alright, PH getting a very, very uncooperative moth. In case anyone's not aware, the moth does not take damage if it touches a spike when you hit it, so... yeah, it can be pretty annoying, but nonetheless, PH. Fourth crystal on the board at the 30-minute mark. Alright, Zenit heading into Skullwoods. PH saving and quitting to Link's house. Using the Dark World portal. So Zenit going straight to the middle of Skullwoods. Picks up his flute and mirrors back. And then heading to the back. A red boomerang on the Hyper Cave NPC. And one heart piece and a lot of rupees, so nothing essential here today. Zenit into the back of Skullwoods. Going for the boss. It'll be interesting to see if Zenit decides to dig the other item out of here, which we know is trash, or decides to save and quit. Because we've seen what appears to me to be pretty aggressive routing so far, so you never know. Okay, 20 rupees on Stumpy, we see on PH's side. As a PH about to dig up his mirror and Zenit into the moth fight, and yeah, somehow gets a quicker fight, and I say somehow, not as like anything against Zenit. I mean, I was just thinking like sword beams are usually very bad for this fight, but nonetheless gets a quick kill anyway, and ties it up with 4 crystals. As a PH going to check Sick Kid and turn in the Smith. And Zenit is digging around in Skullwoods for the last item. Flute activation on PH's side. Alright, so Zenit about to get the heart piece, and Peach fluting away, going to the mire area. Oh, we have no medallions, but Peach could still get lured in with this key under the doormat situation, which seems to happen quite a lot in this game. But either way, we're gonna check the shed and probably checkerboard. Nothing in the shed today. I believe that was Quake for entry, but I could be mistaken. Alright, so checkerboard on PH's side is nothing. A graveyard ledge on Zenith's side. PH going to the mountain, rescuing the old man. With just a 300 in a graveyard ledge. We get confirmation in chat that my entry was Quake. Thank you for that. It is a pendant, but we may need to get one of our go mode items out of it. We don't know yet. There are 2 items there. 20 rupees on the old man, and PH trying to climb, getting a little trolled by the boulders, but it gets his spin speed nonetheless. Flute activation on the Zenith side. Inside Spectacle Rock Cave, we have... I think that was a mushroom. He checked it, like, very quickly. He's going to get it, so it's something. Alright, so it was the mushroom, and PH setting up a bomb jump. If you are following the 100% NMG tournament that's happening right now, we're seeing a lot of that bomb jump. There's Zenit, also checking the mire area. And ether tablet for PH. Just 20 rupees though. PH entering Hera. And we know this is a green pendant. But, never know. Could be something here. So big key in the first check means we are not condemned to doing the basement necessarily. And Piece of Heart on the first floor, and PH decides to take a one and done here. There's one other item in the dungeon, but I can understand not wanting to dig it out, especially considering it could be in the basement. Alright, Spiral Cave on PH's side and Zenit following up the mountain. Showing us the little object holding tech. To climb the stairs faster. Alright, using the Dark World portal on PH's side. Heading to Super Bunny, or actually, never mind, we're doing Paradox first, I lied. Oh, nice bomb jump from Zenit as well. The Ether Medallion in Paradox 5, which may or may not be of any value. We don't know the entry for Turtle Rock yet. But Zenit also dipping Hera, so we'll see what he decides to do. I would guess he'll do the same thing and just leave with one item, but you never know. As a pH climbing back up in the Dark World through Super Bunny Cave. And Zenit is climbing Hera, so wants to look around a little bit, probably wants the green pendant, I'm guessing. Alright, Hookshot Cave for pH. See what he decides to do here. I'm sure pH knows how to hover. Not going for it though. Kind of understandable. Hookshot is one of our go mode items. Plus hovering is kind of slow. And if you're not 100% confident, it can take a long time to get it. So pH back in Hera. Our second item in Hera is the blue cane, and we could already see that on Zenit's side as he decided to leave, but pH is finishing the dungeon. Going to get that green pendant value, whatever that may be. So Ether for Zenit, and again, no idea if that's something we need or not, but it could be. Alright, so pH is going back into the Dark World. It looked like Bombos for TR entry. And I think we're getting a Spike Cave check on PH's side. Alright, so Zenit is checking out the Dark World Mountain, getting his nothing and Super Bunny. And Bombos is in Spike Cave, so not quite a key under the doormat, but it's in the neighborhood. And I have to imagine Zenit will get that on this trip. It's fully in logic. I mean, I don't know. And it looks like we're getting some hovering attempt from Zenit. And meanwhile, PH heading towards Palace of Darkness. After one attempt, Zenit decides to call it quits, and I don't blame him. Hovering is a weird skill. Like, I do it casually, but I wouldn't go for it in a race. Like, that's just my comfort level with it, so I definitely understand calling it quits after one attempt. And the green pendant turn-in was nothing, we see on PH's side. And Zenit going Spike Cave, getting his Bombos. Oh, it looks like the seed is kind of railroading them pretty hard into doing this. Look, we haven't seen Zora yet, curiously. Both of them just passed on it when they were doing the South Shore stuff. I was thinking, why did they not go to Ice Palace if it's a crystal, but I guess, you know, maybe we're being greedy and trying to wait for Samaria. And this is more dense, but I don't know, I honestly, I've never raced with casual boots, so whatever they're doing is, you know, professional, and I'm just guessing. Oh, Big Key in the back of Pod, and Zenit giving us a Bombo's tablet check. To answer a question in chat, in overworld glitches, water walking isn't logic, but you need flippers for swamp. Oh, sorry, yeah, they don't have flippers. That's why he's not going to ice. I mean, they could fake flipper if they wanted to, but yeah, this makes sense. So thank you for that. Though, I'm not finding anything in this pod, which is interesting. Which leaves us with the mushroom, turn in Zora. The purple chest we've not seen either. And yes, for Ice Palace specifically, if this was an overworld glitches seed, yeah, the logic doesn't care about the flipper requirement. ph doing his water checks, not doing the man under the bridge, so maybe ph will actually check Zora, because Zenit came here like very early and did the waterfall and then decided to leave. So, I mean, this could be something. A powder on Zora is, well, it's not what you want to see, but I mean, it could be something. It combos well with the purple chest that we haven't done yet, at least. And PH agrees with that, so fluting to town but going to the Dark World. And meanwhile, Zenit is doing the backup pod. Yeah, but PH has not done the Graveyard Ledge yet, so he didn't know that whatever he was about to do, or if he was going to check Powder and Purple Chest, that was probably the solution, but... Oh, we also have Catfish. I forgot about that. So that's probably where he's going next. He can do the mushroom at the same time. I don't think we saw a mushroom turn in yet. I don't think we necessarily need Quake, because Myers a pendant, but a PH deciding to go for the purple chest and the powder check combo. And Zenit is going for Helmasaur, so PH left the dungeon after clearing everything else, so this also could potentially be our answer. But just a piece of heart on the magic bat. To answer your question, chat, why complete pod? I'm assuming Zenit is counting the items. So pod has 5 non-dungeon items, and one of them can definitely be on the boss. And we're about to find out. Just 10 arrows though, so Zenit, knowing that Pet is dead, saves and quits, does not, collect the pendant. Yeah, saves a good amount of time. I'm skipping the fanfare there. And PH still doing his Dark World stuff, running down the chest. Okay, so just a bottle. It's a vanilla item, although we get a potion on the purple chest. Oh yeah, Zenit going to the pyramid. I forgot, we haven't seen this yet either. And it is the Cane of Samaria. So that gives us Turtle Rock. I'm gonna say Peach is definitely winning on efficiency, but behind in the fact that he doesn't have that Cane of Samaria yet. He's about to get it though, because he's running out of places to check that are in logic. So it looks like we're still needing the hookshot and the flippers for our go mode items. The pH heading towards the pyramid. The pH is going extra thorough. Since he's pretty much done the entire overworld, he's probably thinking just finish it off completely, in case there's something here too. Alright, so nothing on the mushroom turn-in, which is also the powder location, nothing there today. Going towards Catfish, but meanwhile Zenit is in Turtle Rock. And wisely remembers that we have to do this the long way without having the hook shot. There's some very impressive rando skills, and I'm actually not kidding. That is extremely impressive to remember that. Okay, just 20 rupees on Catfish. A half magic and a small key on Zenit's side. pH climbing the mountain again. A big key in the compass chest in TR. That's kind of funny. I think Zenit was trying to save time by hitting the switch, but since they hit the switch twice, it just wasted a couple seconds there. PH opening Turtle Rock, not too far behind. And if it turns out that, well, depending on where our items that we need are, the PH might potentially have an advantage having cleared out all the overworld. It might not necessarily have been just a waste, complete waste. So too soon to tell though. PH also remembering to go the long way. These are professionals. If you've not already given them a follow, you should definitely give them a follow. The Mimic Cave on Zenith's side. Adjust some rupees today. PH getting his big key. Getting a little bullied by the Stalfos. Sorry, I was looking away for a second. So we have the flippers in a crystal roller check. That gives us a logical ice palace, and of course swamp palace. At least the stuff we can do, not the back. The hook shot could of course be in swamp, but I mean, nobody wants that. At least not when you're the one playing the seed anyway. Laser bridge. Bunch of junk. And Zenit approaching the Trinex fight. This is one of the only places in the game where the gold sword actually definitively saves time. Alright, so 5 crystals for Zenit, and as expected, going to Ice Palace. Oh, what could mix this up a little bit is, say there's nothing in Ice Palace, and Zenit decides to, like, check the overworld before going into Swamp. That would give some time back to ph. ph on Laser Bridge, collecting his whole lot of nothing here. Zenit into Ice Palace. About to show us the first check here in the Pen Gators. He's showing us a nice bomb strat as well, and the hook shot is just here. Okay. Well, that is going to be go mode for Zenit, 103 here. It's kind of a rough break for ph, but you never know, stuff could happen. ph showing us a very nice tempered strat for Trinex. Zenit, the Icebreaker. And what's also unfortunate for ph is that everything was like free up front, like all swords and like the silvers were on the way, so and it has like bottles with potions, cape, the Burna. There's literally like nothing he could possibly want to open things for. ph is doubling down. This is the last check on the Overworld that he could possibly do. Forgot that he didn't do this. Alright, that's Cold Stare down for Zenit. Gonna be off to swamp. ph swimming towards Ice Palace. Alright, ph picking up his hook shot. Go mode at 106. Alright, is that it? Entering swamp? A nice icebreaker from ph. Wow, that's really interesting. The Zenit doing a splashless diver down, but also with bombs. What I'm used to seeing in non-glitched modes usually clips the other side of the rail. Alright, Cold Stare down for ph. Gonna be his 6th crystal. And Zenit fighting Argus. Alright, 7 crystals for Zenit. They're gonna be off to Ganon's tower. If you would like to guess the location of or the number of checks it takes to find the big key, there are 22. Yeah, I believe it's 22. I don't play this game myself, so sorry. 22 checks in the basement, not counting the big chest, so if you would like to guess that, feel free. And you will win absolutely nothing if you are correct, but I guess gloating rights that you were a good guesser. I don't know if Zenit has a preferred strategy. Back when I used to play non-glitched like years ago, I would always do hope left. But looks like we're getting a Dark Magician, I'm guessing. Alright, so if you guessed number 2, you are correct. So it was the bottom left chest in the Dark Magician room. So very quick and painless GT basement for Zenit. So now on to the climb. Doing some mimics, nice and easy with the silver arrows. Key dash to the next room. And this room is free if with quick swap and hookshot. You never see the hookshot strat in vanilla because you don't want to menu. Zenit using the blue cane in Ganon Ball Z. That was actually the good RNG that you hope for in vanilla. You don't need invincibility with that RNG to dash through. It was the fast double, is what they call it. And into the gauntlet, where you doing a lot of fire rod shots, killing some Stelphos, running around the conveyor, doing some more fire rod on the Zazax. You know, ph. Also climbing the mountain, about to enter GT himself. Zenit really burning down the house with the fire rod. The silver arrows on Landmo. Unfortunately, he misses a shot though. Alright, torches for Zenit. And ph just entering tower. It looks like ph also does the Dark Magician. I wonder if everybody just does that now, if they agreed that this is best. A ph opening the next chest and getting a small key is interesting. You're getting rewarded. I think logically there has to be a key there if the big key there is there, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Alright, Aga 2 for Zenit. This is actually a very difficult fight to do well. Like, it's 2 in the first cycle, it looks like, unless you got cheated. It's 2 on the second. One on the third. Okay, so 2-2-1-1, not too bad. Is Zenit going for the Clight Pixel? I didn't know Zenit knew how to do that. I mean, obviously it's illegal in this mode to clip through the wall, but it's cool that he seems to know that. Or maybe Zenit has played Glitched and I just forgot. Alright, into the Ganon fight for Zenit. Again, giving us a history lesson on AD&D. Oh, isn't it? Taking a little bit of damage there, it looked like, but gets it under control, though. Now, after this teleporting phase, just 4 arrows to seal the deal. I think Zenit is feeling a little bit of the race pressure, as racing rando is very stressful for those who have not experienced it, I'll just say that. But nonetheless, Ganon is defeated. Please get your GGs in chat for Zenitschwert, going to be the winner of this race and this series. Closing out this race with an official race time, GG time of 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 14 seconds. And as someone in chat said earlier, that was correct. The bracket, Zenit will be facing Zelga Dasan in round 3, and that should be very exciting. Our runners are having a little bit of a chat in race time. Oh, and PH has forfeited. Not sure if we're doing an interview here. 1 second.
Hello.
Oh, hello. We are joined by PH.
How's it going?
GG.
Thank you, GG.
I'm doing well. How are you?
Okay, thank you.
So a bit of a rough one, huh? Do you want to talk us through what you were thinking or feeling?
I mean, I don't think it
During
was a
part
rough
of that?
one. I think that it was casual boots, and you have to go looking for stuff. I think the thing that I was probably the most unhappy seeing, but I don't know how much it actually mattered, was so Zenitschwert, I thought might take a pretty aggressive path, and so when I got the Kane upstairs in Hera, I thought that might have been good, because that was blocking Bombos, and then I saw Cape in on the under the bridge, and a lot of players get that very early, and so I figured that might have allowed him to get it without needing to go into Hera upstairs.
Oh, I didn't even think of that, but that's interesting. So Zenit did go upstairs in Hera, but did not defeat the boss and decided to just leave with the second item, the blue cane. I think the main difference is you were extremely thorough on the overworld, and Zenit was not.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably what it's about. Let's say 2.5 minutes or so. I think he finished. I was basically just out of Moldorm 2, so you figure probably 45 seconds for the Aga 2 fight, and then another minute change for Ganon. GG's.
GGPH, hello.
Yo.
But congratulations, Zenit.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, JD. Nice to see, nice to hear you. Yeah.
So I actually forgot that you were a glitched racer, Zenit, so forgive me for that. That would explain your putting off going to town for so long, and also going to the Clyde Pixel in the Aga2 arena, so you have to forgive me for that. I forgot, but...
Yeah, I'm just practicing. Yeah, I play a little bit now Logic, and it's just a little practice. Yeah, I know it's not allowed in this races. Yeah, it's just joking.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's fun. I understand. I was commenting that it was... No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I felt so bad with Helma. I thought I could go from Link's house to Pyramid and then to Port, and I decided, oh, I got the flute, so let's flute to 5 and go to Port. Port has 5 items, so yeah, and after the first 4 items, and it's only trash, so I had to play Helma, and I felt so bad finding the Somaria on Pyramid, and yeah. But the seed was... Yeah.
I was just going to say that PH did not do Helmasaur, but did do a lot of the overworld that you left behind. That seemed to be like the main difference in the race. But neither of you got the Red King of Samaria like very quickly. Both of you had like... I think PH did not have much left in Logic other than, you know, very few checks like Catfish. It was near a last location.
I had Pyramid Ledge, Catfish, Mushroom. That was it. And Helmet.
Okay. Yeah. And
so I figured this game, you know, I was going to go into it probably figuring that I'll probably clear more than you, and if there's something in a bad spot, it's probably good for me. And if there's mostly items in like the big, really the only thing that I felt like particular, like I don't really consider the King to be, I mean, it's not in that bad. Like you'll get there eventually because you kind of get funneled with, you know, 3 full long dungeons unavailable. There's only so much you can do before you go do that. Yeah, like because I was in the same boat. I fluted to Pod, but then the big thing was I figured, you know, if there's something in one reasonably bad spot, that's probably good for me, and there really wasn't. So.
Yeah, I played not very aggressive, but I decided not to go to Catfish after Somaria, and I played the water checks early and skipped King Zora, because I have not enough money for the Dark World checks, and yeah, so I decided I won't go back to Zora and Catfish. Yeah, Catfish would be a spot, but after that Somaria, I knew I have to go, and yeah. I see my last Overworld checks, Catfish, Zora. Yeah, I think I have more Overworld checks open. Purple Chest, no Hera, Moldorm, Green Pendant, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Moldorm's a lot faster than Helma, so
yeah.
I would say between those two, that probably was more expensive for you than beating Moldorm was for me. But yeah, I mean, Purple Chest is obviously going to be pretty slow. I think, yeah, Catfish is, if you're running all the way up there, is pretty slow. The two Zora checks, because I didn't do the waterfall, so I went and did all 4 of them later when we had the money.
Have you played Purple Chest in your first Smith Chain road? Or no? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do any. I didn't do any of those checks. I went back and cleared a lot of that out. Kind of.
Okay.
So basically, at the end, after doing Pod, I had this big Dark World loop that I had available. So I had Graveyard Ledge, Purple Chest, Cave 45, Dig Spot, the Bombos Tablet, Pyramid Ledge, Mushroom, Catfish. So it's and I did the water checks before, right? I did the water checks before that because I thought that might be something you would get too early, and so I didn't want to leave those too long. Like I didn't want to do this whole big Dark World loop and then just find something sitting in Waterfall. So I pulled the trigger on those, and then I went to the rest of it. But yeah, I mean, I kind of figured that that's a that would, like, I mean, I was talking about it as that was not necessarily a seed that I felt great about in terms of what I thought might be available versus how I thought you might play it. So like I felt pretty bad for the last like 15-20 minutes, basically once nothing really showed up. You know, I figured even like, so I'll say, you can actually go look in my VOD. I was annoyed, like, for example, in Eastern, I lost a minute because I was like, I'm pretty sure you're going to take the 50-50 and I'm not. And I lost it.
Yeah.
So like, it's when you have stuff like that and it adds up. And I didn't know for sure, but I was like, I think there's a reasonably good chance that you might pull the trigger on some of those, and I'm going to probably play with those, and that'll probably decide the race, because we just have 2 different styles. So how the seed chooses to allocate the items will probably reward one or the other.
Yeah, I see. I took the 50-50 in Eastern, and yeah, it was lucky. Maybe I have played Eastern very early, and so I guess it could be the Moon Pearl, Eastern Big Key chest, and everything else. It was just a flip a coin, and yeah. But I know I have to play aggressive against you, and that's the reason why I took my chances and I tried it, and yeah.
Yeah, although I mean, you can see it's really not. I'm like, it's a few things in the overworld, but it's not like a crazy amount. You know, I think grand scheme of things, if you look at where I was when you finished, it's probably, and also I don't know what your routing is in GT. I went straight to the big key. So
same.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, that's the sort of thing that like very easily. I don't think that there's I think it's basically the decisions you made were better in this than the ones that I made. I don't think it's like I'm saying, like, I appreciate it, but I don't think you had to play aggressive. I think that it was just you played, because you could have cleared everything I did, and I think we would have been basically neck and neck. So I don't think that's, you know.
Okay.
LPH, it definitely didn't help your cause when you got the powder on Zora, and that like led you to, because you were gonna do purple chest when you checked that and all that stuff. Like, it just kind of leads you into doing everything. But
oh yeah, you never got that. That's funny. Yeah, good times. Look, that is a classic. The only thing that's really disappointing about that is, since I did it with the purple chest, you gotta you can't do the cursed dash out. That's the real sadness. You know. But look, 458 escape with a couple of mistakes. That was good. So can't be too mad.
Oh, nice. 450. Oh. I was over 5 minutes. I don't know.
Yeah, it was. I mean, like, I think that I wanted to play Kaz Boots because I actually like Kaz Boots. I know some people in this tournament don't, but I enjoy it. And I was kind of like, I feel like I played all right, and if it doesn't work out, that's
Yeah.
okay. You know, I don't feel bad about losing. I feel like it was. I felt a lot worse, candidly. I felt a lot worse yesterday because that was. I
Yeah.
like you never know how it's going to end, but that was just like a brain fart. This was.
Yeah, I have seen your VOD and the Sasha problem, and yeah, I know that issue. It's so annoying. You mark Sasha and forget. Yeah, it's not an empty spot anymore, and so yeah, it's out of
Yeah,
sight, and yeah,
you never know how it's going to end. Like I could have gotten it and still like it. It's only to say like that. It's frustrating to lose when you make a mistake like that. Like
yeah,
this is much more like. Huh, I think we both probably played pretty well, and I
yeah,
don't feel bad about losing. I wouldn't feel bad about losing to you in any real case. So it's more I only feel bad when I'm like, oh, I just did something dumb.
yeah, yeah. That's annoying. Yeah, I see
so
that.
so thank you so much for the series. It was a fun time,
Yeah, thank you too. Yeah, thanks,
and
thanks.
and good luck. I think that this is the greatest gift that you could get is you now get to go face Zelga. Good luck. He's exceedingly good.
I need all the luck of the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
But
probably will ban Kroskis against
I
them.
mean, I'll just say I think he's played it before. He's not bad at the mode, so it's
Yeah,
understandable if you don't want to race him in cross keys. I think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
he's I think he's okay at it. Is where is
Yeah,
what I'll.
yeah.
Um, this is it for me. But thank you, SG. Thank you. So it was JD. Appreciate it. And Zenit, I'll just leave it at good luck, and I appreciate you, and I'll kind of leave it for you guys for the last word, and I hope everyone has a good one.
Thank you.
I don't. The Zelga Dasan is your next match. That's gonna be something, huh? Good luck, Zenit.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you to Drossi for setup. Thank you to Kate Sith for tracking. I don't think we have anything on the schedule else right now. I think this is the last race of the night, but we do have races all day tomorrow. So definitely stay tuned, and thank you for watching, everyone. See you next time.
Bye.